Towers.
Right, great.
And nice to meet you.
Yeah, same. So we have already started the classes. We started on 2nd September, so you can catch up on the previous classes on YouTube, right? So today we are going to continue because we are going to continue in that flow only. But new practices being introduced. So this is from scratch. So it's new for everyone. Yeah? So let's begin today's class. Neck straight. Let's just gently close the eyes. Start observing the breath. Make sure your body is completely relaxed. And you're not changing the breath, you're observing it as it is. Your body is stable, mind is a little bit settled. Begin to deepen your breath. Make more slow, long, and deep inhalations. Slow, long, and deep exhalations. Chanting Om followed by the chanting mantra. Inhale deeply for Om. Relax. Join with the palms together and feel the chest. And then have the palms together. Come on, eyes. Slowly wipe your hand, the palms, open up your eyes, come back to the smile. Let's begin today's session. So we have already done a few pre-practices for pranayama, and today we are going to do another pre-practice. So just write down the name for you. Nadi shodhana. Nadi shodhana. This is also very commonly known as Nadi shodhana pranayama. That's a single mistake. So the second one, WO has been added. So Nadi shodhana pranayama, very commonly known by this name in this time, but it's actually a pre-practice. It's not a pranayama, right? So calling it a pranayama with time, like I am always mentioning, with time a lot of practices changed. So in that way, now in the modern times, Nadi Shodhan is not seen as a pre-practice. It is actually called a pranayama. So modern gurus came in and they eventually added the term pranayama and after it, right? However, if you go to Hatha yogic texts, any traditional text that you will go and read, you will find that Nadi Shodhana is a pre-practice. It's a way of preparing your body, your nadis for the practice of pranayama, right? So nadis are actually subtle energy channels that are there in the body, right? And these are like arteries and veins. So I mentioned this over and over again, but one more time I'm mentioning this. So these are energy channels, just like your arteries, veins, where the blood is carried inside the arteries and veins. Similarly, the energy channels are present in the body, and energy flows through these channels. They are called nadis, right? So from the term itself, the first thing that you get is nadi, which is energy channel. And then we have shodhana, the word shodhana, which means purification. So now, with the name itself, you can see that Nadi Shodhana means purification of the energy channels of the body. Right? If the energy channels of the body are blocked, they are not purified, right? Then pranayama practices cannot be done. So this is the reason why it is not a pranayama, it is a pre-practice, because without the energy channels being pure, you cannot proceed in the practice of pranayama, right? So Nadi Shodhana also has a lot of stages, a lot of ways of doing Nadi Shodhana. So I'll be explaining each and everything in detail to you. We'll have a few classes only on this topic, right? So this practice is a prerequisite for pranayama, very important prerequisite. And before you step into the practice of pranayama, it is very important that you master this. Otherwise, when we do pranayama, we are trying to gain control over the prana, the vital force of the body. If there is a blockage, there is no way in which you can gain control, right? So first we need to purify, we need to cleanse the nadis. So let me come to the difference between certain things, right? So there is a practice called 𝐾𝐚𝐲-𝟔, right? This practice is there, and then you see Nadi Shodhana, and you see both of these are used interchangeably. However, Anulom Vilom is just the beginning stage of Nadi Shodhana. Nadi Shodhana is advanced practice. It has a lot of stages, and one of the stages of Nadi Shodhana is Anulom Vilom. So we'll go more into detail about this as well, right? So you need to know these two are different. Also, you will see another name for Nadi Shodhana is, alternate nostril breathing. Yeah, so English name is alternate nostril breathing. So let's come to a few basics of performing Anulom Vilom Nadi Shodhana breath, because Anulom Vilom is one of the stages of Nadi Shodhana, right? So we need to understand a few hand positions first. So generally we form a mudra called Vishnu Mudra, right? Vishnu, V-I-S-H, and Mudra, V-I-R-A, Vishnu Mudra. Another very common mudra used for Anulom Vilom Nadi Shodhana, both these practices is Pranayama. P-R-A-N-A. So first let's understand the hand position. These both mudras are formed by a right hand always. When you are doing Nadi Shodhana or Anulom Vilom, right hand has to be used to form these mudras. And left hand can remain normal, palm facing upward, either like this, or you can go to chin mudra, joining the tips of the index finger and the thumb together, and keeping the remaining three fingers together straight, and placing it like this, palm facing upward on the knee. This is your chin mudra. This you can adopt with the other. So either you can place it normally or you can adopt chin mudra. These are two ways in which you can place the left hand. So right hand, now I'm going to tell you about right hand. First is the Vishnu Mudra. So just look at my hand position when I do Vishnu Mudra. So first two fingers, first two, the index and the middle finger are placed on the eyebrow center, right? And when you're doing it with the right hand, so your thumb will close the right nostril, and ring finger, either just the ring finger or ring finger and little finger together, they are going to close the left nostril. So it's going to look something like this. So one is this and this. These two. So you can either choose to close it with your ring finger only, you can leave the little finger loose. Or some people, what they prefer is they keep both the fingers together and they close the nostril with both the fingers. So that is also okay. Both are all right. Okay, so this is your Vishnu Mudra, the first mudra that I have written, right? And Pranav Mudra also let me show you. So Pranav Mudra is formed when you fold these first two fingers. So earlier we were placing it over here. Now we are folding the first two fingers, placing them on the base of the thumb. You see the position of my hand, right? I'm placing it on the base of the thumb, and then I'm turning my hand down. And once again, the thumb, the ring finger, and little finger. Again, just the position of the first two fingers has changed, and this is how you are going to open and close the nostrils when you breathe, right? Another very important thing is people really put a lot of pressure on their shoulders. So when I form this mudra and bring my hand up, sometimes this is what you will normally see. They cause too much pressure on the shoulder. The shoulder should be relaxed. Alright. Another thing, your elbow should be close to your body when you're forming this mudra. Okay. Why? Because that is going to aid the shoulder to be relaxed. Another very important thing when you do this is some people you will see they tilt their head down and bring their hand, then they bring them. No, This is wrong. Your neck needs to be straight, and you bring the hand up. So hand movement is there in the hand, not in the neck. Sometimes you will see some people tilt their head and then do this part. So this is wrong. Once again, today in Hatha yoga class also we discussed the relevance of keeping the spine straight so that energy can flow properly. So same thing, you are going to keep the neck also straight. So do not bring the neck down, keep the neck straight, move your hand up. Okay. So this is another very important thing that you have to take care of when you are doing shodhana or you are Anulom Vilom practice, right? Now I've told you the hand position also. So right hand is always use the right hand to form these mudras. Do not use your left hand. Let me tell you why. Okay, so reasoning is also very important for us to understand why we are only using the right hand. And your hand will also tend to get very tired when we do more and more rounds. Your hand will tend to get tired. So sometimes what people do is they change the hand. So first they will form this mudra, then they will do, and then when this hand gets tired, they're going to form same mudra and do it like this, which is not correct. Okay, so that is why I'm going to tell you the reasons. So what you can do is, if your hand gets tired, one trick I already told you. Keep the elbow close to the chest, to the body, right? It's going to keep the shoulder relaxed. Another trick that you can apply eventually when your hand starts getting heavy, you can place your left hand below the elbow of the right hand like this to give it support. But you have to make sure that you're not obstructing your breathing, because when I place the left hand like this, even like you guys can try this thing, when you place this, so it comes very close to the body, right? Already elbow is close to the body. So sometimes our breathing gets restricted because of this. So you have to take care that if you are using your left hand to support the right elbow, your body should not get blocked, right? Breathing should remain as it is. You should be able to breathe in and breathe out normally. Okay, so this thing you have to take care of. Now let me come to the reason why the right hand and what is the relevance. So first thing is right hand is it's said to be like more. It's used for spiritual purposes. You will see mostly whenever we do something, right hand is preferred. Like if especially come to Indian tradition and traditional practices, so we generally use the right hand. So for anything spiritual, anything we do in the temple, such things. One reason is that so it's considered to be more. It's used more for spiritual purposes, right? One thing is this. So if you are a believer, just believe and you don't need to know the rest of the reasons. If you're not a believer, then also it's okay. I will give you the other reason also. Yeah. Just a second. So in this also you will require a little bit belief for this reason also. So the 5 fingers, they represent the 5 elements of the body. And the yogic concept also, when you will see, the 5 fingers represent the 5 elements of the body. So the thumb represents the 5. You can write this down also. Thumb represents the fire. Then your index finger, this one, first finger, this one represents your air element. Then next we have the middle finger. So this represents ether. Middle finger. Then the ring finger.
Middle finger
is ether.
Middle finger represents
ether. Space.
Space. Okay.
Your ring finger represents the earth element in the body. last, your little finger, pinky finger, represents the water element. So now you got all 5 elements in your hands. Panch Mahabhut, also we call them in Ayurveda, would have studied this term, right? So now when you see, when you fold this or go for the first fingers, place them on the middle of, both the eyes. You will see your thumb is free and your ring finger and middle finger are free. So now if you form this mudra with your right hand, what is going to happen is, today in the philosophy class in the morning also we discussed how right nostril represents the sun, right, and left nostril represents the moon. So very cooling quality is of the moon, and sun represents heat, right? So we place the fire element with the fire element. So thumb represents the fire element, and when I form this mudra with the right hand, the thumb will close the nostril, which again represents the sun, right? So that kind of energy. Same thing is going to happen when I place this, right? Use my thumb to close the nostril. And when I use either just the ring finger or the ring finger and the little finger together, so earth and water has very cooling quality and very relaxing quality. So this mudra, when formed with the right hand, you will place it on the correct nostril. So left nostril, which is again representing that portion, is going to be closed by that element, those elements. If you go for the opposite, take it with your left hand now and see it's going to get opposite. Check it for yourself. It's going to get opposite, right? So now you're closing your right nostril with something cold. The element which is representing something cold, and same goes for the opposite, right?
However, if somebody is unable, doesn't have a right hand or unable to use the right hand, they perform it with the left, right?
See, in that case, mudra is not like we do not use the mudra. You can just close and open. Okay. So you will not form any specific mudra in that case. When you are forming a mudra, that is the whole relevance of the mudra. That when you're forming it, you are, some energy is being directed, some impact this hand position is also causing. So then don't form the mudra for such a person who cannot do it with the right hand or doesn't have the right hand. They can just simply close and open, close and open. But again, they are not forming any mudra. So it's okay. However, it's preferable to do it with the right hand. So did it become clear?
Yeah, very clear.
Okay, great. Okay. So in that case, of course, we cannot help. So they have to perform it. And it's a great practice. When I will tell you the benefits also. It's an amazing practice in general also. So then no choice, left hand has to be used. Okay. So in Hatha texts also, Nadi shodhana has been given a lot of relevance, and it has been said that just attaining mastery over this one breathing practice can be enough. And the whole point of pranayama, like I told you also, is actually gaining control, right? So you are gaining control over the prana, you're gaining control over your breathing. Through the breathing over the prana, you gain control. So if somebody goes very deep into Nadi shodhana practice, they can achieve the goal of entire pranayama practices just through Nadi shodhana. So they don't need to go into other practices of pranayama. They can just do Nadi shodhana And that is how important this practice is. We sometimes tend to go to, specific pranayama practices because of some particular reason. But this is one pre-practice which has a lot of strength. So if you attain a lot of grip on this practice itself, it's going to give you multiple benefits. And the entire point of pranayama will be achieved just through this practice, right?
For Nadi shodhana, different people practice Nadi shodhana in different ways. Some people explain with pause in between. Some people explain with no pause. Some people might even take anulom vilom as Nadi shodhana, like they might misunderstand. So there are lots of people has got misjudged what is Nadi shodhana. And I know it's extremely powerful.
See,
Just it's yeah. Yeah. So what do you think about that?
See, it is nobody's fault. There are certain books in which Anulom Vilom has been explained differently and has different stages, and Nadi Shodhana also explained a little bit differently, has different stages. So I'm just telling you one of the differences between both of them. So it depends on which book you are consulting. So like I said, when modern gurus, came, they introduced it as a pranayama practice only. They said Nadi Shodhana pranayama, right? So with changing times, they changed the practice. Why? Because now just practicing this also can be very beneficial, right? So they understood this thing and they saw that other pranayama practices, they have a lot of contraindications, they have a lot of do's, don'ts, a lot of specific things. So they said this is an easy practice, so let's call this only pranayama, and it is quite beneficial. And like I told you also, this will give you the entire all the benefits of pranayama. So there is it's nobody's fault, and there is I wouldn't say there is misinformation. It just varies from book to book, right? So as people came in, it just varies from one book to the other, but a very general understanding of Nadi Shodhana and Anulom Vilom. Basic difference is that one is, one is when you continuously breathe, right? And other one, Nadi Shodhana, I'm coming to this only. Nadi Shodhana requires pause, right? So in the beginning class also, if you will see the beginning classes since you joined today only, for rest of the students who were there, we discussed Puraka, Richaka, and Kumbhaka, inhalation, retention, and exhalation, right? So when the retention comes in, that is when this Anulom Vilom practice becomes Nadi Shodhana. This is a very common way to distinguish both of them. There is no there are variation of practices. That is why I'm telling you I'm going to give you the one which is given in the text only, right? So you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Apart from the practice that I will introduce, others are variations. Okay? So now you will gain a proper understanding which is given and which is a variation. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't have to worry about it. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, great. So today we are going to actually practice, just balancing the nostrils a little bit, because Nadi Shodhana or Anulom Vilom, both the practices cannot be done if either one of the nostrils is blocked. All right. And another thing is, it is very good if both the nostrils are dominant equally. So in the morning also I told you in Hatha class that one nostril is generally more active than the other. So what we try is, before starting the practice, we have to make sure that nostril is not blocked, and we try to balance the breathing a little bit so that it comes to a balance, and then we step into the practice. So practicing Jal Neti, it's a Shat Karma, Jal Neti, this you have in your syllabus also, J-A-L-A, Jal and Neti, N-E-T-I. So practicing this Shat Karma before Nadi Shodhana is considered to be very, very good. right? One thing is
Sorry,
this.
what is it? Jal? Karma?
𝐿 Shat Karma. SHATKAR.
Shat Karma.
This you have in your course as well. Practice of 𝐿 JALA. This can become again a pre-practice. You can basically do this before you sit for Nadi Shodhana. Just making sure that your nostrils are flowing freely before you enter the practice. So today we are going to mostly
This Shat Karma and Jala Niti you need to do.
Shat Karma
before-
is Shat Karma is actually 6 cleansing practices. Shat means 6 and Karma means practice. So these are 6 cleansing practices, out of which one is Jal Niti. You have this in your course. So when you go to your pre-recorded videos, you will find it. Yeah. So this practice, so it's generally preferred that you do this before any pranayama practices, right? And if not this, we are going to today actually work on making.
Is it one of is it one of the Shat Karma or Jal Niti you need to practice before pranayama?
Yeah, one of the 6 practices.
One of the 6 months. Okay, thank you.
So it is recommended that the flow of the nostrils is okay before you step into the practice, right? So first, today we are going to only practice a pre-practice for this Anulom Vilom, right? And that is why it is said in cold, flu, and fever. These 3 conditions where your a proper breath is actually a little bit not all right at this point of time. Nose is generally blocked. So these are the 3 conditions in which you should not go for any of these practices, even the pre-practice or Anulom Vilom Nadi Shodhana. Do not go for these practices. Why? Because nostrils are blocked. So breathing will become will take a lot of effort. It will take a lot of effort for you to breathe. So when you come out of these conditions, then go into these practices.
Okay.
So
If somebody is really, really down, like extreme down, so what will be the pranayam they can do, just like one off or something? What will be the...
you will have to go and watch the previous videos for this. We have done abdominal breathing. So that can be practiced.
Okay.
So what it is, how you
Abdominal breathing. Okay.
Yeah. You
Okay.
will have to catch up on previous classes because there is a lot of background and basics we have already covered. But I'm still like
abdominal means like tummy going up and down, isn't it? Like a normal breathing.
Yeah.
Maintain that. Okay.
So you can go and watch previous videos which are there on YouTube. Because now mostly some terms I'm using that I've already explained in the previous classes, right? So in order to
Okay. Thank you.
be more like in sync with the class, that would be very good. And not a lot of classes have happened, so you can easily catch up. Right? So yeah. So where was I? I was telling you about this. Yeah. So it's very important that before you enter any of these practices, your nostrils are like open and you are breathing freely, so that there is no effort, right? So today what we are going to actually do is we are going to form this Pranav Mudra only, right? And we are first going to close the right nostril and just breathe through the left nostril. Inhale and exhale. We are going to do 10 breaths and then we are going to close the left nostril and again do 10 breaths, right? And then we are going to see how it goes, right? How do you feel after doing this? Another very important thing when you are closing the nostrils is that sometimes you will see people close the nostrils very, very, their nose, you will see that proper curve in the nose when they close the nostril. Why? Because they're placing too much pressure. So you have to make sure your hands are gently placed, right, when you are closing the nostrils. And this has another reason also. If you close the nostril too, like you place too much pressure on the nostril and you close the nostril. So suppose I'm closing my right nostril, right? So when I close this too much, somewhere the breath that I'm taking through the left nostril, it's also obstructed. Okay. So if you just try this also, you will observe this thing. When you place too much pressure, the nostril which is open, it's not able to breathe, take the air in that easily. And that is the reason why hand has to be very gently placed on the nostrils, right? So that the other one is not impacted. The other nostril is not impacted. It gets obstructed because you place too much pressure on the other one, closing it. So make sure when you form the mudra, you place it very gently. And it just has the function of opening and closing. So you do not have to put a lock on the door. You just have to shut it. So that is exactly what we are doing when we go for this practice. So today all we are going to do is we are going to form this mudra. Right? We are going to close the eyes and take 10 breaths from one nostril. Normal breathing only we are going to do. You inhale and exhale at your own pace. Then again we are going to close this, inhale and exhale at our own pace. So we are going to go for 10 counts. Right, and I think we will have time to step into the next portion. So after you do this, relax your hand. Okay? Then once again, form any of the mudras. If you're comfortable with this is good. If you're comfortable with this is good. Right? And when you do this, after that, try to gain a little bit control over your breath. So if you decide 5 seconds, right now, when you were inhaling and exhaling normally, you were able to maybe go for 4 seconds. So just increase that a little bit and then go for controlled breathing. So make sure inhalation and exhalation is equal when you go for this controlled breathing. Again, we're going to close the right nostril. We're going to take now only 5 breaths in this controlled fashion. So 5 breaths. Now I'm exerting control when I'm breathing. Okay, and when you exhale also there is this sense of control that okay, inhalation is coming as I wanted it to, exhalation, the breath is leaving the body as I wanted to, and both inhalation and exhalation should be equal. Minimum should be 1:1 ratio. Then again 5 breaths we're going to close and take 5 breaths. This time we are going to go for a little bit deeper breath. When we are doing this, we are going for a little bit deeper breath than the first one. Okay. Any doubts in this technique? What we are doing today? Okay, great. So I think we can.
Are we using the same nose for breathing and inhalation and exhalation, or both noses?
Yeah, today we are. So today what we are going to do is close the right nostril, inhale and exhale 10 times through the left nostril. Then close the left nostril, inhale and exhale from the right nostril only 10 times. First step is this. Second step is control. But same nostril, inhalation, exhalation. Today we are only going for.
What do you mean by control?
What do I mean by control? That is what I was telling you. That one thing is inhalation and exhalation should be equal when you are going for the second stage. One thing you will take care of this. Second thing, you are going to, like if you are taking 4 seconds right now, then go for a little bit deeper breath. So go for 5 seconds and you are the person who is controlling it. So sometimes what happens is that when you inhale, it will take 5 seconds, but exhalation will go very fast. So try to gain a little bit control over that exhalation and make it for 5 seconds. So you will know when you practice this thing, what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You have to keep 1:1 ratio for both of them.
Okay.
So I think we can begin the practice. Tomorrow we will go deeper, right? So back and neck straight, gently close the eyes. And just relax your body. Keep the mind focused on the breath. Place the left hand on your knee, just palms facing upwards or above the knee. Etc. With the right hand, you can form either the Pranav Mudra or the Vishnu Mudra as you see fit. Make sure that the elbow is close to the body. You are taking your hand up and your chin is not coming down. Take care of these little things. And then you can close the right nostril with your thumb. Gently place the thumb on the right nostril. Begin to inhale. It's the natural flow of your breath, right? So inhale, exhale normally. Once you finish the 10 rounds, close the left nostril with the ring finger or the ring finger and the finger together. Open the right nostril and again go for 10 normal breaths. Once you complete this, open the left nostril, bring your hand down and relax your hand. Place it on the knee. Just observe the natural flow of the breath. Keep your mind completely focused on the breath. As you observe how you feel after the practice. Once again, bring your right hand up from either the Pranav or the Vishnu Mudra. Again, close the right nostril and begin to inhale and exhale through the left nostril. Go for deep breaths this time. And long breaths, keeping the ratio of inhalation and exhalation. with the left nostril. Close the close the left nostril, open the right nostril. Follow the same breath pattern to the right nostril. Again, let's close the practice. Relax your neck. Back and neck will remain straight. And just observe how you feel. Is your breath more stable, calm? Just keep the mind completely focused on the breath. Let's run the palms together. Put the palms. Place them on the eyes. Shape, place them on the eyes. And allow your eyes to absorb this heat. One more time. Let's rub both the palms together. Keep them on the eyes. Very, very slowly while blinking and looking at the palms, open up your eyes, start coming back. Take your time. So, were you able to experience the difference between both the breathings? When you go into normal breathing and then when you went for a little bit control and deep breathing, there's some difference that is there between both of them. Were you guys able to connect? Any issue or difficulty, any doubts?
So is there, for the, sorry, for the controlled breathing, do we need to have like a particular count? Like 1, 2, 3, 4? Okay.
You can, but it's just going for a deeper breath than the normal one. So from the previous one, you just have to go for a deeper breathing this time. So number will initially keep you engaged. However, do not use it for a very long period of time. Because then you lose track of your breath, you will stick to the number instead of the capability of your body. So you will very easily lose track of, are you able to breathe or not? And you will be more focused on attaining a particular number, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Another doubt was there. Narenga, you were asking? You unmuted yourself, you were saying something.
No. I'm practicing Nadi shodhana often, so for me, it's I just enjoy the practice. That's it.
Okay. Great. All right. So if there are no doubts, I'll close the session. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So tomorrow we are going to practice Anulom Vilom, right? And then third day we are going to practice the main.
So what is this one called?
This is a pre-practice.
Is there a name for it?
There is no name for it. It is one of the stages.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can say it is the primary stage, first stage for which prepares you for Anulom Vilom.
Okay. You know, when you breathe, does it need to start with the left side always?
So, see, it is up to you which side you want to start it from, but generally when we do Anulom Vilom, we start from the left side only. So that is why pre-practice also we started with left side only. Because eventually you're going to start with left side only.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So let's end today's session.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So back next straight, we'll end the session with one Om, 3 Shantis. Sit comfortably, back next straight. When you feel ready, close your eyes. Inhale deeply for Om. Join the palms together in front of the chest and walk the eyes. Slowly well lifted. So the hands up. So let's see tomorrow. Bye bye everyone.
Bye. Thank you.